Hi everyone, I hope you are well. Having a spider mite infestation back in the summer and then a thrip infestation in fall, I did kind of like reconsider whether I wanted to continue with my plant collection, but I stayed strong. I persisted because did have quite a few plants, quite many of them actually, that were pest free and were doing just okay, if not thriving. So I wanted to put out something positive. I did have quite a few plants that kept the joy alive in keeping plants. So let me talk about some of these plants. So let me just start with the very trustworthy, the very reliable, non-fussy whatsoever pothos. And I know you're gonna say, oh, but that's just such an easy plant. It is, for good reason. And I have a wall of them, just been giving me that indoor jungle vibe that I have really aimed for. They're so beautiful and so easy to take care of. It's just on autopilot. I just water them every now and then, and that's all they need. Next I wanted to highlight is my Boston fern, which has grown really nice for me. Also very low maintenance. I love that it has kind of like formed this canopy over my TV. I think one of the easiest ferns to keep. They are not very sensitive to humidity, and they can kind of be drought tolerant to a certain degree. They're not like your other typical ferns that will essentially just crisp up and die if you miss a watering. The Boston fern is much more resilient than that. But of course, I wouldn't recommend that you kind of like let it dehydrate or let it go fully thirsty. But yeah, such an easy plant as well. Now, my Nepenthes has just given me a lot of joy, a lot of excitement. It has been doing so nicely for me. I just have it right under a grow light up here on top of my desk, or above the area of my desk, and they are doing so well. It has grown quite a few pictures for me. And do you see how big this one here is? I'm not sure which Nepenthes this is exactly. I'm pretty sure it is some sort of hybrid, but yeah, it is so easy as well. This is just full of ants. You see how dark that is there? That's full of ants. Do you see all that ants there? But yeah, super easy. I have another one here, which is another hybrid of sorts. I'm not really sure what hybrid, but when I bought it, it was named a Nepenthes Rebecca Sopper. So take that as you will. Another that has just been amazing, which is kind of like a turn of events for me, is my string of hearts. I have two of them actually. There's another one here, really long. I remember buying the string of hearts early on in my plant collection journey. These are a little bit thirstier than you would expect. And because I was afraid of overwatering it, I wouldn't water it as frequently as I should have. And the soil would just essentially compact and trap the roots inside it, causing the plant to pretty much deteriorate since it was not getting enough water. And I basically tried to save it by just propagating them into butterfly cuttings. And I just stuck them all in moss, and they rooted nicely. They grew nicely, but then I couldn't figure out how I wanted to grow them up until sometime last year that I transferred them into these glass containers. And they have grown so nicely, especially after using as well my Sansi grow lights. They have just grown quite a lot, and they actually need to be repotted because they seem to be kind of like root bound. And do you see this here? Like, this is like, I don't know if you call it a rhizome. It's like a huge potato now. But yeah, I think I can say that I have kind of like found a sweet spot in terms of the care it wants. Another one that has done really nicely for me, this one has been such a steadfast plant for me. So stoic, it's just zen, it's just doing its thing. And it's my Philidendran Florida Green, which has grown as tall as me now and would have grown even taller had I not chopped it a year ago. Well, basically it kind of like chopped itself because it couldn't support its own weight. It basically snapped in the middle, and I had not given a support for it, and I was like debating at that time whether I wanted to put a support or what kind of support, but then it had snapped. So I just grew the cutting that snapped off and planted it together, and it's growing really nicely. Yeah, this one is just living its life and has not given me any problems whatsoever. So love that. I just love that. So the next plant is a Syngonium albo, and this one, well, this one is a bit of a more recent purchase. I got it probably a month or a month and a half ago, and I had sworn myself off of Syngoniums since early on. When I first started my plant collection, I had actually bought a bunch of them, a bunch of baby Syngoniums, and they eventually got root rot. But I eventually bit the bullet and changed my mind for this one because, first of all, it was on a sale and it's just so beautiful. So I thought, why not just give it another go and we'll take it from there. And so far it's doing so well. Like, it's putting out new leaves. This one here is a new leaf. It's still kind of soft. This one as well, a new leaf. And here you can see there's a new leaf coming out. But yeah, so lovely. Next is my Anthorium Magnificum, which is so pretty. And it's quite a big leaf. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of my anthuriums got ravaged either by pests or the summer was just not good for them. The humidity was just so low and the temperatures were consistently high. So they did not appreciate that. And so they're not looking really good. Now, this one is more of a recent purchase. I got this maybe a month ago because, believe it or not, it's the first time the Magnificum became available to me. There is a new leaf that is about to come out, so that is exciting. Anyways, yeah, Anthorium Magnificum, keeping the Anthorium obsession high, positive for me here. Yeah, if you want to see this, so this is my crystallinum, or at least one of them, and yeah, not doing so well. But there is a new leaf that is about to come out, so hopefully this is the start of uh hopefully we're turning a page and leaving the disaster that happened behind. Speaking of anthuriums, I have my Anthurium adrianum, which is, I find, not really popular among plant collectors. I know that people are more interested in the leaves of anthuriums. This one is really more prized for the flowers, the inflorescence, and yeah, you can see that it has finally bloomed. So I got this like about 2 years ago. Now, these were cuttings from the mother plant. The mother plant had died because it had root rot, which, to be fair, was just passed down to me. And yeah, I took it upon myself to grow the cuttings, made it my mission to get it to infloresce, and I did it. And I feel so accomplished. I feel so happy. This got attacked by thrips, very mildly so. So thank God for that. But yeah, we have two blooms, and despite it being small, I am still so very happy about it. Oh, and we also have like a bunch of moss that has come alive. This moss is just insane. Anyways, another one that I wanted to highlight are my Christmas cactuses because they're such easy plants as well. And I got this about a year ago, not last year, but the year before that, around fall. And they already had blooms. And I was really curious to see if I could get them to bloom again this past Christmas. And I can say that they did. It was amazing. I was so happy that I was able to have them bloom. And I didn't really do anything special to it. It just did its thing. So don't ask me for tips on how to get them to bloom. They just happened to bloom for me. One thing though is that I keep treating this as like a succulent, but they're actually not. They are actually quite thirstier than what you would expect. So I guess that makes sense because they are a jungle cactus, so they would like more water than what you would think. Successful blooming this past Christmas, so that was pretty amazing. Now, speaking of blooming, another plant that has given me a lot of joy this past year is my Hoya Cronana Black. And despite the leaves, they don't look the best that they can be. They almost look a little bit kind of like dehydrated. But yeah, I'm just a little bit apprehensive at watering them too frequently because I'm afraid that they'll get root rot. But what makes me happy about them is that this Hoya is the first Hoya that I have that bloomed under my care. And this bloomed a lot last year. Over the summer, spring, summer, over the growing season, basically. And I can see already that the peduncles are already putting out. Okay, I shouldn't touch them because they're like very sensitive. I don't know if you can see that. So this is getting ready to bloom soon. And that makes me really happy because I don't know, I feel like whenever you get a plant to bloom, it feels like such an accomplishment. So yeah, that makes me really glad. And what makes me even happier is to show you my orchid. So this one here, oh, is my Phelinopsis Pikachu. Yes, the cultivar is called Pikachu, and ain't this amazing? This is amazing, you guys. I bought this last year, full of blooms, and what's amazing about these guys is they stay on bloom for months, like months. I remember it was like the early fall season, and I'm like, is this plant real? Like, I feel like it's fake because it was not dropping anything. And yeah, it's just so non-fussy whatsoever. So when I got it, it was in your typical orchid bark. But what I found on the internet, they advise that you should remove it from their barky substrate and just put them in moss. And yeah, that's what I did. This is just all moss. And despite the roots not looking all the best, like even inspecting this like a few months ago, there were some roots that had just died or rotted, but it has not affected the plant whatsoever. So this orchid has been so easy for me. And not only that, when it eventually finally dropped all its blooms in the fall season, this was like bare. A few months ago, I started seeing these kind of like, what do you call this? These buds, the flower buds appear. And not only that, but look at this. It grew out leaves on the flower spikes, which I didn't know they did that. I thought the flower spikes were just for the flowers. So at first, when I saw that it was growing leaves on the flower spikes, I thought that the plant was like kind of like gonna die because, you know, it was like kind of like trying to preserve itself by forcing out new growth, new leaf growth. So, I mean, the main plant is still here, alive, rocking. Look at this new leaf, doing amazing. And the blooms are just so beautiful. So easy. And yeah, I'm not really doing anything special to it, I guess, other than having a grow light right on top of it. Yeah, seems to be enjoying it. I know a lot of people, I think, say that orchids prefer light a bit on the lower side or medium, but this one's getting kind of like high light, I would say, because it's like really strong. I mean, really close to my 36-watt Sansi grow light, and it's doing well. It's put out these blooms for me, so I will keep it that way. So last but not least is my Monstera albo, which I will not carry now because it's quite heavy, but you can see it in the corner there. And I actually did not treat this one the best, and it's still doing amazing. Now, it doesn't have the most variegation, but that's fine for me. For the price I got it for, I didn't expect that it would have a lot of variegation. But no, here's to hoping that it will produce some nice variegation. The latest leaf doesn't have a lot, but yeah, we will see how it goes. Oh my God. Where are the roots of these? Are you kidding me right now? Yo, I have to show you guys this because yo, where did these roots go? Okay, that's just crazy. Anyways, so that one is a bit due for a repot, and I also want to put a moss pole behind it so that it has something to kind of like climb on, and in case, you know, something happens, the base of the plant rots or something, I would be in a better place to save it because I already have like an established part of the vine that has rooted on the moss pole. But anyways, that is for another video. Yeah, so these plants were the ones that have kept me from losing my mind with all the disasters. Okay, I'm being dramatic. With all the challenges I've had to face in the past 6 months or so. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care till then. Bye-bye.